Hey friend, I want to talk today about something that I get some questions about, not only from clients but my colleagues as well, and that is, what is the difference between a coach and a therapist? So for a lot of us who work in the coaching field, there is a lot of gray area and some potential overlap with what people may have experienced in therapy or counseling. But I think it's important to make a couple of distinctions between these two professions. So for me, I am a certified health coach, and I, legally cannot practice mental health services. And this is something that I make sure any potential client knows, that I am not a licensed mental health professional. And I think it's important not only just for professional boundaries and expectations, but also legally to make sure that we know that is a distinction. So, coach versus therapist. Usually most of us go to therapists to work through, mental and emotional healing, dealing with past experiences, past traumas, things like that. Whereas coaches, we're more focused on the future and helping you achieve your goals. Now, that's not to say that within coaching there is no healing of past stuff, especially in the way that I work, being very, very holistically minded and also a Reiki master, working with energy and, energy blockages, past traumas, all that I believe is really important to the healing process and can help you achieve your goals. But it is different from like psychotherapy. So that's one, again, kind of gray area, but it is a distinction, can't talk today, that therapists mainly focus on the past and coaches mainly focus on the future. Another one is obviously like payment and insurance. Like, unfortunately, currently, coaching and herbalism and Reiki and things like that aren't covered by any insurance companies, so it is something that you pay for out of pocket. Whereas if you go to a licensed therapist or counselor, most of them take insurance. And then of course just kind of the expectations of the interaction, right? Because therapists and counselors are professionally licensed and they are overseen by like government bodies and things like that, there is a lot of restrictions on what you can and cannot do within a therapeutic setting. And I understand, why, but for me as a coach and somebody that has a therapist and has gone to therapy for a long time, I sometimes feel limited by those restrictions. There's just a lot of structure of what you can and cannot do within a mental health setting, and legal requirements for like patient charting and reporting to insurance companies and other health professionals that you might be working with. Whereas for me as a coach and herbalist and things that kind of works outside of that structure, I have a lot more freedom in what I can do with a client. So, I mean, yes, it is really important to, like I said, make sure people know your expectations and boundaries, because there really is no like oversight for us coaches. But I really like the freedom, right? We can talk about anything and everything, and I'm not going to follow a specific like rubric or anything like that perhaps like a therapist would. There's so much more potential for the topics that we can cover together and how we can blend them together modality wise. So at least from my knowledge and my experience, you're not probably going to find a therapist or mental health professional that can also within the same session do things like working with past lives and past traumas, as well as doing Reiki or energy healing and talking about herbs and nutritional supplements and everything together, which is one of the reasons why I love my job. I'm able to combine all of these really important healing modalities into one. So that's just a little bit about the difference between a coach and a therapist. I personally think it's great to have one of both, because we do have very different trainings, very different skill sets, and like I said, very different potential for how we work and what we can cover. Personally, I am happy to be a part of somebody's team. So a team that includes things like, your physicians or your acupuncturists, your massage therapists, your counselors, and then as your coach and herbalist, I can work together with all these people. But yeah, that's a little bit about the distinction. I think it's important, whether you are a coach or a therapist, or you're looking for a coach or therapist, to kind of know a little bit about the differences of what to expect, and kind of the legal aspects as well. So that is just a little intro. I'm sure there's more differences and more things we could talk about, but again, everybody's kind of an individual in how they work and the kind of training that they've received. So always do your homework, know what you're getting into, and if you have any more questions about this, leave me a comment below and I will do my best to answer those. All right, everyone, hope you're doing well, and I'll see you next time. Bye.